Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and for today's video we will be learning about the basic steps or the beginner's guide to brush calligraphy or modern calligraphy. So before we proceed, let us first identify what actually is a brush pen, because this is essential in creating your calligraphy fonts in writing your modern calligraphy. I have here a brush pen, and this one is a marker, and this one is my very old calligraphy pen. I think this is the first one that I got when I first started this hobby. So the thing with calligraphy pens and a marker, they're actually the same in a way that they have both a chiseled nib or point. Here, it is not flexible. When you write it down on a paper, you can actually tell right there and then that it is not a brush pen because it is not flexible. No matter the pressure that you put into your writing, if it's a strong pressure or a soft one, it is just the same. Same with a marker. This actually have 2 points or 2 tips, the fine and the broad one. So the broad one looks like the calligraphy pen. It's chiseled as well. Again, this is not flexible. If I would apply a soft pressure into my writing, I would still have the same line weight. The fine tip, I would be using this, personally I would be using this for putting outlines or shadows into my letters. So still, it is not a brush pen because it is not flexible. It is just a marker. As for the brush pens, I have here a platinum color duo, and you can tell that this is a brush pen because of its tip. It is flexible when you use it into writing. So when you would apply a softer pressure on it, or when you use a hard pressure on it in your downstroke, you can actually get your desired line weight. I have here another, these are my calligraphy brush markers. It is a scribbler. It's different from this one. I actually got this last year. But the thing with this, although these are also brush pens or brush markers, they have a bigger brush. If you compare it to platinum, see the scribbler brush marker has a bigger tip. Alright, and although yes, I also use this, but this one I would be using this when I have more space into my paper. When I have more space in my paper, can also do the thin strokes on it and the thick down strokes, because it is also flexible. And when you are into brush calligraphy or modern calligraphy, you also need to use a quality kind of paper. So for here, I am using a Canson 90 GSM paper, because others, what they say as a rough paper or something that is gritty, it can actually damage your brush pen. So you should be using or smooth paper. We don't want to use those rough or gritty kinds of paper. So again, as a beginner, what we would try first is to practice our upward and downward strokes. So when you use your upward, or when you do upward stroke, you put a soft pressure on it. See, thin lines are applied. Okay, when you practice doing your upward stroke, you have to do it in consistency. You don't need to do like that. Actually, drawing eyelashes, no, that is not acceptable. And when you also do your downstroke, or when you use downstrokes rather, you would be applying heavy or heavier pressure. So you can actually see, why do I keep on using actually, sorry for that. you can see the difference between the upward stroke and the downward stroke. So again, when you use a thin line, okay, thin for upward stroke and thick lines for downward stroke. Alright. And also, before I forgot, there's also what we call as the basic strokes in writing modern calligraphy or brush calligraphy. Again, we have this thin upward stroke and thick downward stroke. There's a combination of both. I suggest those who are just new to brush calligraphy, you practice these strokes. Down, up. So these are some of the basic strokes into calligraphy that when you would write letters, it would form on any of these strokes. So for example, if we want to write letter D, we would be using this and this. For H, we would be using this and this and this. This one. And this one. Okay, again. But I think I would be also doing another video for this one. It up. Again, when you would be doing brush calligraphy, we try to avoid this calligraphy pen or markers. Although yes, I would be using marker for my outlining and for putting shadows into my letters. But mainly for brush calligraphy, would be getting a brush pen with a pressure, the same consistency. You don't need to do it fast. And when you do your downstrokes, you put a heavier pressure, not too heavy that would damage your brush pen. And you can see that it's thicker. Or you can actually combine those. Again, I'm using the word actually. Like that. Or the other one. Okay. Alright, so depending on the basic strokes that you want to practice, you want to learn. So if you have questions, feel free to just comment down below your questions, or you can visit me on my Instagram account. This is my calligraphy account. It's Musings and Scribblings. Time and time I would be posting some of my work, some of my practices there. And yeah, I'll see you on my next video, perhaps another calligraphy tutorial. Thank you everyone for watching. Goodbye and have a good day.